Welcome to the Garden of England. Kent is the stadium for tonight's round of L&R's ACC PC Championship, round 2 already. And the drivers are out on track. Paul Venter in the 42BM Bentley? Bentley, it's a Bentley, not BMW. It's one of those days, obviously. Is having the time of his life coming up on to Pilgrim's Straight. If I press the right button, it might even work properly. There we go. Good evening, everybody. My name is Sky, and you are with us for the 10 minutes of qualifying and the entirety of the 50-minute race that we have planned for this evening. 8 o'clock is the local time for the qualifying session. We wait with bated breath to see how it will affect the track temperatures. On track at the moment is 16 degrees. These drivers are going to require at least a couple of laps to get the tyres up to temperature. Last time out, it was Nobrega who was leading the way, who has just left the pits. We also have... Where else was there? We are missing a couple of drivers. We are missing the championship leader. If I do believe, Heinecker does not... Either that or I'm blind. I am more than willing to accept that I may be blind. Van der Merwe is out, Jansen Van Vuren is out, Vermeulen, Nobrega. We are lacking. Chris Heinecke has just joined qualifying 7 minutes ago. He has enough time to get out onto the track, but that is a late call to the track and a terrifying prospect ahead of Heinecke, as he has to get the car up to speed in the conditions that we've got here, and even less time than everyone else has. Greening in the 93 car, currently sitting 6th after the round 1 of the championship, had a pretty reasonable race last time out, but more I'm sure he will be hoping for tonight. In Kent, this is my local circuit. I've driven around here quite a few times, as well as spectated the local BTCC races. Nothing in the world can prepare you for the steepness of Paddock Hill Bend here. If you think that the corkscrew is steep in a game, it ain't got nothing on Paddock Hill Bend, I'll tell you that for free. So, opening salvos, Jadwat, you'll have to tell me later. Bashir Jadwat leads the way in a 777 Bentley. That's a new car, if I remember correctly, to the grid. All in a gloss black finish as well, looking very, very tasty there. Either that or he was very much under the radar. Let me see. No, he's not. This is a new entry, and he has stamped his authority by doing a 1:23.2, which is not a terrible time if you're familiar with Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit. Plenty of time left in the session as Nobrega gets to within 100th of a second, 200ths of a second of the 777 Bentley. Jadwat goes for another run. Let's go with the current provisional pole sitter as he comes across the finish straight, which isn't straight, and into Paddock Hill Bend, down to the dip where the very fastest GT3 cars will be grounding out, up to Druids for the right-hand hairpin. We're expecting a lot of action, a lot of overtaking through that right-hand hairpin. Left at Graham Hill Bend, run it out as wide as you dare. You can use all of the AstroTurf on the outside there before it goes into real grass. Someone has taken out all of the position markers on the entries to Surtees. Now up the hill on the throttle as early as you can. Keep the wheels in check, slide them if you have to get as much speed as you can through Pilgrim's Drop here. On the brakes up into Hawthorne, late apex, really early actually for Jadwat there. I'm surprised that he's made that work. And then up a gear, down a gear into Westfield Bend, fall off the edge of the earth again as we go down through the dip at Dingledale. On the brakes, 2 gears, only 1 gear for Dingledale and the Bentley, as through Sterling's that banked left-hander that catches so many people out. It has caught the provisional pole sitter out again. Down through Clearways and out through Clark Curve. Mind the adverse camber and the bump on the exit, which makes the car feel so light. Jadwat going right to the inside to narrow the line and will go faster again with a 1:22.7. Now we're getting on to hot pace. A quick lap, but lots and lots of technicality to this track. And if you look at it on a map, it does not look much like Laguna Seca. Doesn't look complicated at all. The complexity comes from the countryside with where the track sits. You can see the gradient where the track just disappears up into the sky at Surtees there. So that is a very, very quick map of Brands Hatch, and it's what all of these drivers are having to deal with at the moment. Marcus Stein is going quicker as he comes out of Surtees, not Sterling's. The cameras are not the most useful when it comes to working out where on earth they are. And in a single breath, he's made it up the entirety of Pilgrim Straight and is through Hawthorne and then through Westfield. That Porsche should be very, very stable. He's 4/10 up on his previous time at the moment. That is a good time to have if he can keep it all together. Gets it slightly wrong on the exit of Sterling's. Didn't use as much of the track as he could. Through Clark Curve now. And what is the final resting place for that time? He comes across the line now, and that will put him to 7th. Running super wide again. That's not good to run out onto the gravel. That will do your speed a disservice. Stein, the other Stein, is going quicker at the moment as well. It looks like this one is actually coming out of Sterling's. Yes. For Quentin Stein through Clark Curve. Very, very wide, but you can make that work. And he has. He's got a faster exit speed. He's 7/10 up as he comes across the line. That will promote him to... Oh, it wasn't a valid lap. And he's going to abandon the car in the wall on the outside of Paddock Hill Bend. 1:17 and the track goes yellow. I assume that would be... Yep. That will be for a car coming off the track after they finish their lap. Plenty of time. Oh no. All those drivers in the pits now have conceded that they will go no further. So 15th for Quentin Stein, Pullen in 13th, Vermeulen in 10th, and Rutter in 9th are the current positions. Venter is under a lot of pressure. He has the Porsche of Heinecker, as well as who else we have? Rutter in the 975 has opportunity as well. That will be a Ferrari abandoning lap. Korn-Strauss in the gold number 67 is going a little bit faster. That could be a little bit of draft coming off the car in front, which is good for him. 74 Audi, that is of Barrington Smith. So provisional third, potentially about to be usurped by fourth. The checkered flag comes out. This will be the final times for these two drivers, as Barrington Smith goes no further. Strauss succeeds him in the 67 Porsche, They are our first two across the lines. Heineke is going faster, but is not going to be fast enough at the moment. The driver who dominated the last round at Spa-Francorchamps is struggling with the Porsche. He has plenty of time to be able to get this lap completed as long as he can get around the rest of the lap. Headlights on now as well, so the light really is starting to fall out of the sky. 3/10 up at the moment. It's not enough to get the lead, but could well be enough to move him a couple of places, maybe 2 places up, potentially. If he's very lucky, if he got a good drive off of the final corner, we'll get the final result now. That is 4th place and outside of the second row for Chris Heineke. Good showing for the Porsche driver. Let me drive? It will. Excellent. So, my usual trick is going to be slightly different tonight with the horrible banking that the start-finish straight here at Brands has. It never gets any less weird. It really doesn't. So, the newcomer, Bashir Jadwat, laying a stake on pole position with a fantastic 122.7 was what I saw. Tristan de Nobrega will pull up alongside in that 720S. Korn Strauss in the gold number 67 car, looking very, very shiny there, will take 3rd, and 4th will be the championship leader, Chris Heineke, in 4th. Ryan Barrington-Smith pushed from 3rd to 5th in the closing stages of qualifying, but a valiant effort by the 74 Audi to get to where he is. Paul Venter in the 42 Bentley, a very, very patriotic livery. I'm not sure if he's actually anything to do with... Whee! Hello. Excuse me. I don't know what that was. Oh, we had a disconnect. Oh, Heineke has disconnected and will start from the pit lane just to really throw the cat amongst the pigeons. Oh, very dear. Schuler in the number 2 will start 6th. 7th will be Marcus Stein. Ethan Rutter will start the 975 in 8th. 9th will be Jack Van Meulen in the 34 car. 10th will be Neil Greening in the 93. 11th will be Gerrit Jensen van Vuren in the 6 car. 86 of Robin van Mera will start in 12th. 13th will be Desmond Pullen. And 14th will be Quentin Stein. 15th. 15th, and from the pits will start, so all of that hard work will come to naught for the championship leader at the moment. The cars pull away, and this will certainly be a change as far as the championship is concerned. Heineke is going to be ruining his internet tonight. As the drivers circulate for their warm-up lap, let's have a very brief look at the standings for this championship. Chris Heineke, as you saw, leading the championship with 35 points with only 1 round gone. Tristan Nodebrega is definitely starting his championship hopes off well in the 720S, starting 2nd on the grid with his main championship rival starting from the pit lane. Ryan Barrington-Smith is in 3rd, Korn Strauss in 4th, Paul Venter is 5th, Neil Greening is 6th, so plenty of action to come from this grid. And you can see the rest of the standings there, which those of the drivers who haven't scored any points will get scored as being equal 16th. Noteworthy among those are Quentin Stein, who's had a 10th place last time out, will have some work to do in the championship, in the race to defend that 10th position. Van der Merwe at the moment looking as though he will be able to outscore quite handily. Jensen Van Buren as well. A bit of a poor showing so far in qualifying, but lots of action to come tonight, especially as the drivers are tackling one of the most challenging tracks in the world. Again, it doesn't look like much, it really doesn't, but having driven around here in a Porsche Cup car, yeah, it's a big challenge. It's a really big challenge, not to be underestimated at all. So we will go to the third place car. I wonder how they're going to form up the grid, because this is going to Stein going into the... No, he's not. That's fine. It came up as him going into pit in. We wait for the segment to go green at the top of the screen, and we will start to count down the 50-minute race. It goes green now. The green flag is out, and side by side they come in towards turn 1. Denneberger is going to be trying to get the undercut as they come through Paddock Hill Bend. Holds a slightly tighter line, but can't do anything about that bending at the moment. We get a safe and concerted effort to stay out of each other's way through Paddock Hill Bend, up through Druids for the first time as well. We are all very, very patient and polite. There's a Porsche there. Bentley, sorry. 42 Bentley got pushed off the track ever so slightly as the timing screens go insane and everything gets very difficult for a second. 42 actually may have an advantage here. No. And will be demoted to 7th for Paul Venter. Not the worst start for him, but will be difficult to get back from there. Porsche goes defensive, which is a mistake as the Bentley tries to go around the outside, loses another position, trying to be way too aggressive, making up that lost ground. A bit of a tap, potentially big tap for Stein on the back of... Nope. For Vermeulen on the back of Stein there, and pushes a Ferrari off the track as well. What a start. That BMW is something else tonight. Black and gold is the order of the day for Jacques Vermeulen. Further up the grid, Schuler remains on the heels of Ryan Barrington-Smith, who maintained his 5th and then made up a place. Who is it that fell behind there? I think it was... Oh no, he made up a place because of Heineke's disconnection on the start line. So upside down and topsy-turvy right from the very beginning here. And some network connections really starting to play games as well. Jacques Vermeulen, thank you very much, ACC. Getting right up on the back of the Bentley, looks to the inside, but you'd have to be very brave to make a pass from there. It's not enough of a braking point into Hawthorne Bend there. Now, having got out of position, cuts across the grass on the inside of Westfield, is going to start getting under pressure from a trio of Ferraris if he isn't careful. Paul Venter being a bit of a stopper in the bottle at the moment, but that's not a problem. That's not too much of an issue at all. And for 3-car battles too, Korn Strauss, a podium position for the 67 Porsche at the moment, hunted down by the 74 Audi. Watch for that Audi to come on strong as the tyres get into their operating window. Perhaps slightly out of the operating window at the moment, judging by how he took Druids then. Not quite confident on the brakes in that 74 Audi. I'm pretty sure Schuler had to get out of the... Is it Schuler or Schooler? I'm going to ask to the ether and to chat. Is he going to be schooling the Audi, or is the pronunciation that which I am suspecting it might be? An hour's break in the timing has brought the darkness to the Kentish countryside, and the headlights are now going to start to be a much bigger factor in this race. Also, the indication LEDs will be casting a little bit of light on the track, as well as how are we looking everywhere else. Eaton Rutter is trying to pressure. That's a Ferrari off on the inside. What has happened there for Van der Merwe? I think that's a car that is not feeling too... I think that may have been a mistake on his own. We'll go for our first replay of the race here for Van der Merwe. Coming up through the hill at Dingledale, through Sheens. Oh, he had it sideways before he even went through the apex. The Bentley of Heinecker. Nope. Who was that Bentley that just went through? It was Pullen that had to take evasive action. So, a mistake on his own for Van der Merwe. Heinecker has been gifted a place, but still has a lot of work to do in that number 20 Porsche. Points will be awarded all the way down through 15th position, if I remember correctly. Maybe even further if we had a larger grid. And Schuler still pressuring the 74 car. Rutter is close to the back, but not... Oh no, that is just... Sorry. Timing screen's showing to be a little bit buggy at the moment. Where that Aston Martin should be quick in a straight line, so ironically this track is not going to be very good at all for that number 2 of Giancarlo Schuler. The only place where he's really going to have the true advantage is up the Pilgrim Straight on the exit 30s here. Let's jump on board with him as he tries to get, as a drive-through is awarded to Jacques Vermeulen for what I can only assume is that contact with the Ferrari. I'm not necessarily one to cast aspersions, but I feel as though... Ooh, that's very wide. That's extremely wide for Schuler. What else is going on around the grid? This is the closest battle at the moment. However, Neil Greening is very much under pressure still from Jacques Vermeulen. That challenge is going to fall away when Vermeulen serves his drive-through penalty. I wonder if that is Van Vuren. Oh, that is Van Vuren in the pits. Oh, I wonder how much damage he had. Back to the battle over 4th position. The gap at the front has opened up quite a bit now. Into the pits goes Vermeulen for the drive-through. It is cleared, but he has paid the price. And Heinecker is gifted another position that he doesn't have to make on track. I wonder if there is any kind of strategy here at the moment for Heinecker to get his pit stop out of the way early to try and get some clear air. He's close enough to the back of the field that he could make it work. It's just as to whether he would fall into the clutches of the leading 777 car. Dinnerbregger is keeping Jadwat honest though. Only a second off. No, he is 6 seconds off. It is Korn Strauss who is a second off of Dinnerbregger, so Jadwat really is driving his own race at the moment. Up through Surtees he comes. And he really is out on his own. I'll tell you what, while we were looking at that, where is... Heineke has got himself up to 9th position now, with only 2 cars having pitted and that drive-through. That means he's made 4 passes, 3-4 passes out of merit. I'm sure he is eyes forward and focused, running 4/10 faster than his previous lap at the moment. As Korn Strauss begins to reel in the number 70 car, Porsche is an absolute demon through the mid-speed corners. And the last corner of the track is a mid-speed corner. The Porsche is right on the bumper of the 720S now, who has to gingerly poke at Paddock Hill Bend, whereas the Porsche is very much handles like a old workman's boot. You kind of point it at the apex and boot the throttle. Really is an excellent, excellent car for Brands Hatch. It's an excellent car for a lot of places, really. And Vermeulen looks like he is putting pressure on Van der Merwe. 86 Ferrari and BMW come together again, hopefully not literally. Ferrari goes defensive on the inside, runs out to the outside. BMW will be able to have a look up the inside this time because the Ferrari, there's no way he's going to be able to get to the apex. Runs out a little bit wide to dissuade Van der Merwe. And the kind of patience and execution that we expect from Vermeulen comes back to bear. Chris Heineke, the first overtake that we might well see on track for him then, as he hunts down the Bentley. I expect this charge to be relentless, and you may well see a mirror image of the start-finish straight that we just saw from Vermeulen with the Porsche here. Heineke can take a bit of time to set up a pass, but really can't afford to be stuck behind this Bentley. Through Clark Curve they come, out onto the start-finish line. There's so many different lines that you can take on the exit of that corner. You saw just 2 of them there. Big wiggle from the Bentley as it bottoms out that big heavy V8 at the front, not enjoying the dip at the bottom of Paddock Hill Bend. And the 20 just needs to pick his position and execute. Is this the corner? This may well be the corner. He sticks up the inside. The 15 will have to give him space. He does give him space. But now the Bentley will have the speed in a straight line, but it doesn't matter. The Porsche has the overlap and put the Bentley enough off his line that the position was made. Excellent execution by Heineke there. Van der Merwe still hasn't let Jacques Vermeulen escape in that 34 BMW though. It's very, very tight up and down the field, with the exception of Jadwat, who may himself need some balance of performance, judging by that pace at the moment. Whoa, big slide again for Van der Merwe, avoids the wall. Great to see that, but will now be under pressure. No, concedes the position. There we go. Very generous driving there from Robin Van der Merwe. But that means that the closest battle that we have on track at the moment here is there in the form of 3rd, 4th and 5th. Korn Strauss leads, Ryan Barrington Smith leads Giancarlo Schuler, who has been hanging on to the back of these two for quite a while now. Remember that we do have pit stops to be served here. Vermeulen is serving his now. 4-tyre change is the order of the day, so it doesn't make a massive amount of sense to pit right at the start of the race. But the fresh rubber and potential clear air that you could get from pitting, say, 5 minutes early, I would say about now is when the pit window is kind of opening to get a real advantage. But we'll have to see who goes for the dive to the pit lane first. Pullen drops into the pit lane. Rutter does exactly the same. So no covering off here. Bit of a bump. And unfortunately, ACC doesn't have pit crews. Really unfortunate, because it would be lovely to see the battle of the pit crews and who gets it done quickest. Barrington Smith still under pressure from the number 2 car. Don't think that was necessarily an attack gone wrong. It could just be that Porsche is really strong in the middle sector. This Dino Braga is only a second up the road from this battling pair as well. Triple. So every now and then Strauss manages to move himself away from these two cars and towards Dino Braga, and it could be a mistake that keeps pushing him back. It could also be just getting under the draft of that McLaren, causing issues for the Porsche. Very aero dependent these GT3 cars are, and when you get the aero balance upset, it can throw the cars off something chronic. And with the Porsche, with the engine in the wrong place as well, that's going to ruin his time as well. What else is going on? Stein, it looks like, is hunting Van der Merwe. That is almost a battle for position, but in the end it really isn't, because Van der Merwe has yet to serve a 4-tyre stop. What will the 55 car do though, because he is on fresh rubber? He has the performance benefit here. Gets a massive toe on the exit of Sterling's. Takes a lovely wide corner. Ferrari dips into the pits and jumps out of the way of the 55 car. Good choice of number, by the way, for Marcus Stein. Schuler is now as close as he's ever been to the back of the 74 Audi. And I fear this may be a pass that can only happen in the pits. I wonder if Schuler is perhaps thinking the same thing. Whatever you do, son, I'm going to do opposite, would be the sensible thing to do here. Getting grass on those tyres is not good for the wear or the traction. Yep, number 2 car got a little bit too confident and cocky on those tyres and ran wide, then cut the grass on the inside, and then ran wide again. Good evening to Ashley Wilson. That's a very race drivery name, that. I wonder if the Aston might possibly drop into the pits this time around. No. I feel like that's a mistake. I feel like that's a mistake for Schuler there. He should be looking for some kind of advantage, try to do something different to get him out of the gap, or out of where he's stuck, if he wants to go any quicker. Because being stuck behind this 4-car train, more or less, is not going to earn him any favours whatsoever. Strauss is a little bit... He's not a little bit ahead anymore. He did get it all the way up to 1.5 seconds. But that was the mistake. The Audi got wide on the exit of Surtees. The Aston will go up the inside. Audi, it looks like he let off. Just conceded the place to get it done, and now he can start focusing forward. Still got to serve a pit in the pit lane though. And it's okay, so now that the tables have turned, it's Barrington Smith's opportunity to pit early, get that rubber on the car quicker, and perhaps use the advantage to gap the number 2 car. Still no choices made. That's really strange. That's really very, very peculiar. Vermeulen looks up the inside of Ethan Rutter as they come through Pilgrim's Drop. No, it was not Pilgrim's. It was down through Clearways. Sorry. Bentley had the inside line nonetheless through Clark Curve, just cemented the place, and now has 7 seconds to the Bentley of Desmond Pullen in front to make up. What else do we have? Quentin Stein looks like he's just in the pits. Van der Merwe is around the track and away. Barrington Smith still on the back of Giancarlo Scuola. Is not letting that drop. Rutter with... Who is that in front? That is a Ferrari, but which Ferrari it is, there's only one way to find out. It is Greening. So a lap ahead now is the 93 car of the 975. A pit stop still yet to serve. But plenty of action yet to come. The pit stops will bring new tyres and more potential for these drivers to hammer out the fastest laps that they can. Let's not forget that the fuel load is burning down here. Some of these drivers will have set the car up to run better light than heavy. As Schuler again makes the same mistake that Barrington Smith made before, but that front-engined Aston is just so much more stable than the Audi that it kind of doesn't matter. What else do we have? Oh, that was... Oh my goodness, Robin van der Merwe was so close there to losing his nose on the entry to Sheens. Back out onto the start-finish straight again. And what remains to be seen is what do we have as far as what are these guys going to do when it comes to the pit stops. I am astonished that they're waiting so long. Paul Venter is the first of the leaders to jump into the pits, and I wonder how much of that is trying to guard off against Marcus Stein in that 55 Porsche. Quentin Stein has retired. Oh no, he hasn't retired. This is outlap, but apparently he hasn't served a penalty. He hasn't served a pit. He's got. He hasn't got a pit strategy mistake. That's odd. Venter leaves the pits. The leader comes through, and the number 1 car will get a lap back on Venter here. We just need to find out where that car has slotted back in. There's a bit of a gap around him, which is good. It means he can get his tyres up to temperature in the way that he needs to. Strauss and Barrington Smith both into the pits at the same time. This is going to be an extraordinary thing to see competed. That's damage on the front of the Audi. That's not good. And the Ferrari of Strauss comes in. Is that a lap later? No, that was not a lap later. That's the 33 car into the pits. Who is going to be cleanest in and out of the pits? Porsche's running. Porsche's rolling. So Barrington Smith getting his damage repaired. Strauss is free to retake the track, with his competition still stationary. Ooh, that's a... There we go. That was just a very, very big lag. Wow. That was terrifying. Schuler drops into the pits now. What an entry. That may have slightly been lag, but it doesn't really matter. The top 3 pit. And suddenly we have an interesting fight for the finish. Can Strauss get that Porsche up to speed and challenge the number 2 car? Who was sat behind this battle and struggling to get past, but now is running in clear air but on used tyres. Interesting. Oh, a retirement for Heineke. I didn't even see you disappear, mate. I'm very sorry. The game keeps crashing on your new PC. Are you running it off a hard drive or an SSD? And also, do you have all of your drivers and BIOS updated? Silly questions. Start with the silly stuff when it comes to fault finding. Schuler's still in the pits. Schuler is rolling now. But who will be, as Venter has made his way past Barrington Smith? This could well be the battle for 3rd position here. Schuler is out, but the Porsche is in front. Strauss in the 67 Porsche is on track for a podium finish. Fantastic showing there. And Jadwat clean in and out, it looks like, at the moment. Dinobrega has 16 seconds. In arrears of the leader. What else is there? Unfortunately, it seems like... What is that? Who is that that's taken an excursion off of Jessen Van Vuren? Just not having the most fun, as all the timing screens work themselves out. It looks as though Venter has inherited 5th. Schuler has got a lot of space around him in 4th. Barrington Smith, with the damage that he sustained earlier in the race, has dropped all the way to 6th position. So heartbreak for him. But Vermeulen now on the defensive. Ethan Rutter, having lost the position earlier, wants that 10th position from the 34 BMW. BMW goes super wide. Jinx back onto the circuit. Feeling the pressure now is Jack Vermeulen of the Ferrari behind, and is making silly mistakes all over 10th. 10th does offer 22 points though, so Van der Merwe with 22 points added, that would do his championship hopes no end of good. Unfortunately, this is the closest battle that we really have on track, as the Ferrari gets it all wrong at the bottom of Paddock Hill Bend. It's one of those things where you have to be super careful with how you set the car up, because too stiff or too soft a bumps and it can throw the car, literally spit the car into the gravel trap and towards the Armco, with you having done nothing wrong. Now, it's no secret for to people who are aware of me, but I am a bit of a fan of this Porsche GT3 car. It sounds absolutely wonderful. Not only does it sound wonderful in real life, it sounds pretty damn good in ACC. ACC and R Factor 2 really have put the effort in to make this car sound just as good as it does in real life. As the leading Porsche of Korn Strauss comes down to the final corner, let's just have a brief interlude with 19 minutes to go on board with the Porsche. Just listen to this artwork. Sincerely hope that you don't mind me doing that, but I absolutely love the sound of racing cars around a racing track. Doesn't matter if we're doing it in real life or in virtual reality, it's absolutely wonderful to get to witness this engineering on show, and the quality of driving as well really is something to behold. The leader, Bashir Jadwa, really has flown under the radar this race, leading by goodness knows how many seconds. Out in a class of his own is that 777 Bentley. But the rest of the field seems to have spread out just a little bit in these closing stages. It's always unfortunate when things like this happen. Is that actually a poor position? It could be. No. As Pullen has a second gap behind to Ethan Rutter, and the gap between Dinobrega and Strauss is slowly coming down. I wonder if that black and gold Porsche, or is it gold and black? Looking at the dominance of the gold on that colour scheme, is this the car to be watching? Or is it just traffic that is wreaking havoc with the driver's lap times? Out of interest, the dropped scores, is that something that is organised within simracing.gp? That sounds like a very, very cool little thing to have. And to be fair, Mr. Buck Sharks, how well versed are you with Simracing GP? Because this could be an opportunity to talk about it and perhaps explain what's going on post-race, obviously. Actually, no. We could actually do that now. Post-race would be better. But we can definitely have a word as the Porsche closes in, hand over fist on the Ferrari, on the McLaren in front. Wow. We've got Ferrari on the brain, that's not a good thing. A bit of a messy paddock hill bend for Dino Brega is all the invitation that Strauss needed to make up the 2-second deficit that it was as they came across the start-finish line. This could be second place for Strauss, which, to be fair, Dino Brega doesn't have to fight too hard. His competition for the lead of the championship is out. There could be more drama coming with Jadwat joining the championship here, but there's absolutely nothing. There's no conceivable reason at this current point in time that Dino Brega should be defending too hard. Through turn 1 they come again. Is this the tyres going off for the 720S? He runs out wide and keeps it all very, very neat and tidy this time. Through Druid, the line they take through there is really odd. Really is strange. But I used to always take a very wide entry anyway, so who am I to talk? Up onto Pilgrim Straight they come, which of course is not straight, and through into Sector 2 they come. This is where the Porsche is going to be dominant and very difficult to live with down into Westfield now. Nice and clean, but some dirty air potentially coming off the back of that number 70 car. Big cut by the 67. In fairness, Sheens is completely unsighted, and you are aiming at a position that straight up doesn't exist until you are on top of the corner. Venter is putting the screws on to the number 2 car as well, who's tucked up behind the 34 car, who's a lap down. On the brakes, leaves the gap up the inside for the 42 car to take position. That is Schuler down to 5th position. So the 42 car, wow, lots and lots of flashing going on. Oh, Bentley gets it all wrong under brakes. Lots of flashing going on. And Venter will only lose 1 position, but will have a lot of time to make up if he wants to make that gap up again. 7 seconds roughly by the looks of it is the gap. No, it's 18, there we go. My split timer is obviously a little bit screwy. Venter got the pass done, but was scared off the racing line by Schuler there into turn 1, and perfectly fair for Giancarlo to do there. There was no contact. It's purely the confidence of Ventnor in that. Oh, and then he handed it back. That I wasn't expecting. Was that a mistake from Schuler, or was it a... Let's have a very quick look at a replay of that. Because Schuler's up in front. I don't think he did anything wrong. Oh, he got a big sideways moment on Surtees. Managed to keep it out of the wall and on track. But that's where it ended up happening. The Bentley came right up to him. And the pass was then made up into Hawthorne Bend. So the Aston not quite behaving as he would like. The 42 car goes around the outside. The 34 car getting right in the way now. Laps down, but still trying to fight with the leaders. And that is not the kind of driving that we like to see for cars that are laps down. Not to mention, is he going to let off? No, he's still holding the two leaders up. This is a battle over 4th and 5th position that is being held up by 13th. This is not good driving from Vermeulen. He might well feel like he's got something to prove, but this is not the way to prove it, dude. Two cars looking all around and just blocks to the inside as the BMW comes back to the racing line. He really should be getting out of this now. He's held these two up for long enough that you wouldn't blame him for taking a punt there. He finally, after 2 laps of influencing this battle, as the Aston gets it all wrong on Paddock Hill Bend, and the 42 car will make it good for now. They go side by side, BMW and Aston. Again, BMW's a lap down. This shouldn't be an issue. As the Aston gets to the inside, will finally put a lap on the 34 BMW, but doesn't get a very good exit, and now the BMW is trying to come back at him again. This is astonishing to see, and this is not doing Schuler any favours whatsoever. He was looking at a podium here, and through fate and fortune cannot dispose of this 34 car. Has got the overlap. Now the BMW pulls out of the way properly. Bentley didn't get a very good exit off of there either. I feel as though the 42 car said Marcus can ignore blue flags to race. Okay. Yeah, if you're fighting with someone, I understand that. If you're in a battle with someone like these two are, if this battle was a lap down and it was the 34 car trying to, oh, was that a touch for the number 2 car? I don't see any damage. I think it's a bit unfair that that battle was entirely compromised by a car that is 2 laps down. It's not 1 lap down, it's 2 laps down. I'll say, I'm expressing my opinion, that's all. Desmond Pullen has got Rutter for company. A second apart, though, is not the most ideal. Venter now again has the BMW for company, who... With Schuler now in front and a second up the road, that number 2 car looking very, very lively, but perhaps designed to, or set up to run in clear air. drive-through for Jadwat. Is that for track limits? Oh, now this turns the race on its head. I was not expecting that at all. Is that a game-issued penalty? Let me see if... It would be nice. Yeah. I think... Oh, now this is astonishing. Let's get eyes on Dennebrega. As we look from the helicam, he is mired in traffic. The leader has just come. It is track limits. So suddenly the gap has dropped from 20 something to 8 seconds. And Jadwat has to get heat back in tyres that have already done 20 minutes. Lots of drama. All of a sudden, the 15 car of Pullen gets out of the way. It was track limits, so a game-induced penalty for Jadwat. I mean, he's got enough of a gap. Like, he's not too bad. 4 seconds, though. That has come down quite significantly. Yep, weaving backwards and forwards on the straight. That's what I was expecting to see. Gotta get that heat back in the tyres. Because with a track temperature of only 13 degrees, my goodness, I wish it was 13 degrees in the UK at the moment. I really, really do. But potentially that gap coming down. With 4 minutes to go, he'd need to make up a second a lap. I don't think Dennebrega is that fast, honestly. I don't think he is a second a lap faster, or a second a minute, sorry. It's even worse than that. Oh no, he's a lap down? I thought not. There we go. Gap's 4 seconds. Schuler in the thick of it with Venter in front again. So that number 2 car, for whatever reason, is really struggling. Whoa, big wiggle. That 42 car isn't behaving either. So this is the battle of the 2 cars that neither of them have a fully behaving front-engine rear-wheel drive car underneath them at the moment. And Vermeulen has got the best seat in the house to watch this battle unfold. In fact, he really does. Just the tiniest bit of lag really is causing issues with the racing lines that people are using. Can't quite be sure whether that is where the car actually is or whether it's somewhere entirely different. Jadwat has the heat back in the tyres and has started to extend the gap yet again at the lead of the race. A drive through track limits and still managing to keep the lead. I'm pretty sure there was something similar in the British Grand Prix a couple of weeks ago. Not that I would dare comment on such a thing. 42 car holds the inside line. The Bentley is wide enough to keep the Aston behind. It really is. It's just a case of whether Venter has the 5-second penalties for Schuler. I assume that's going to be I assume that's going to be for some level of contact somewhere. Oh, big wiggle for the 42 car. However, this is a very interesting conundrum. Venter could let the 2 car just disappear off into the distance. Because there's no way he's gonna... Oh, there's no way he's gonna make 5 seconds up in a single lap. However, if he drives like that and loses the 42 car into the wall, there's every possibility that he could make up 5 seconds. This, where is the leader on track at the moment? 40 seconds remain. This is going to be the last lap of the race for Jadwat. Denobrega has lost out something chronic. Korn Strauss never really closed up to the back of Denobrega, apart from in that initial instance that we saw on camera. This is the interesting fight, is over 4th and 5th. Giancarlo Schuler has been released from behind the 42 Bentley and into clear air. Can he nail... Where is the Bentley going? Okay, he may have 4th yet. Depending on how this goes, Ryan Barrington Smith is still behind, so that gap is secure. We have to wait and see if he's gotten 5 seconds in arrears. He has. Venter, getting it all wrong at Surtees, has conceded that 4th position when he was under zero pressure to do so. Jadwat comes across the line and finishes in 1st. Denobrega, big old drift on the entrance to Surtees. Thank you very much to the 777 car. Noses it into all. There we go. We don't need that car anymore. It's all good. Denobrega will finish 2nd with Korn Strauss in the end only 0.4 of a second off. Schuler will come across the line 35 seconds in arrears of 3rd place, and Venter will eventually lose another 3 seconds to drop him for sure into 5th. Ryan Barrington Smith will come across the line at speed and get it very sideways through Paddock Hill Bend. Get some heat in those tyres for some donuts later on, gents. Neil Greening will finish in 7th position. Marcus Stein in 8th. Desmond Pullen will finish in 9th. 10th will be Ethan Rutter. 11th will be Gerrit Jerem van Vuren. The 86 of Van der Merwe will finish in 12th. 13th will be Jacques Vermeulen, and 14th will be Quinten Stein, who did actually finish the race as well. Fantastic to see that. Let me jump into contact made by car 2 with car 42. Is under investigation. So that is something to keep an eye out for. There is a waiting room in the form of Bash Jadwat. I'm gonna now find out how very poorly I have been pronouncing his name all race. Bash, can you hear me?
Hey guys, I hear you. How's it?
Awesome, I can hear you as well. That's fantastic. Firstly, your surname Jadwat, or is that a little bit?
Is right.
Excellent, cool. Okay, I haven't embarrassed myself too much. A demonstration of dominance in a car that is derided by many as being not the fastest over a stint. Talk us through your race and how you're feeling at the moment.
It was a race full of mistakes.
Oh, really?
And, an hour of prep. So yeah, it was a very last-minute decision to actually sign up this morning. And then once I got off work at about 6 or so, I started doing some practice. So I'm surprised that I managed to win the race, but also my pace was quite terrible in the race. I mean, it was so inconsistent, and I made quite a few off tracks, had a drive through. So yeah, it was not a clean one. But yeah, I'm happy nonetheless.
I mean, you still took the win by, I think, in the end, it was 8 seconds in the end, and you had a drive-through. You pulled a Hamilton there. You really did.
It was, yeah, I think I got lucky with this combo as well. So the setup just felt epic straight out the bat. So there wasn't much I needed to do to get it in the zone. It's just that my first stint I had the tire pressures a bit wrong, and the second stint I overcompensated, so I had them a bit too high then. And so the drive-through was actually welcome. It managed to get my pressures in the zone again.
You're still weaving along Pilgrim Straight to get some heat back in them, though.
Yeah, to get some heat. My tires were cooling down a bit too much. I think I had the brake ducts a bit too far opened.
Okay.
And also I may have run just a little too little bit of toe or something. But yeah, the setup wasn't ideal, but it tended to work somewhat. In fact, my race pace was a bit better than my quali pace even. So yeah, I'm stoked.
It's always bad when your race pace is faster than your quali pace. It's always the worst thing to have, but no.
I know, yeah.
Congratulations on a well-fought race, and hopefully the rest of the pack will be able to catch up with you in the remaining races. Wonderful livery on that car as well. It looks absolutely beautiful in that gloss black.
Thanks, man.
You have a lovely evening, mate. See you next time.
Cheers.
Next into the combox, we will take our second place finisher, and a lonely race for the most part for you, Tristan Dinnerbregger. Dinnerbregger, is that correct? This is the first opportunity I've had to really ask the question.
Yes, that is correct.
Awesome, awesome. I'm actually getting quite lucky.
Nice to meet you, bro.
Yes, it's very nice to meet you too. So a bit of a relatively lonely race for yourself tonight.
Yeah, the start wasn't too bad. Had a nice start there behind Bash. He unfortunately just had the pace on all of us today, so well done to him for just an outstanding performance. And then it wasn't too lonely. Kind of hung on to Bash for the first 5 minutes, and then after that struggled for a bit of pace, which backed me up into Cornet. So yeah, he was on me all race. The gap fluctuating between a second and 3 seconds. At the end there, he was pretty close, but yeah, awesome racing, and very chuffed to walk away with another podium.
Yeah, 100%. That's going to do your championship hope something brilliant with the problems that Heinecker was having with apparently ACC kept crashing on him. It wasn't network. Yeah. He's got a new PC.
Yeah, that's not something you want to hear, hey?
Yeah, new PC, and he tried to jump into it without doing some stress tests first. So
man.
You've had a reprieve this week. You're gonna have
to. Yeah, look, still four rounds still to go, so it's never over. So we'll just take it one race at a time, and see where it goes from there. Hey.
Yep, but you will come out of this race as leading the championship, and I'd take a screenshot of that because it looks as though it's going to be a big challenge for the rest of the season.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you again, and I just want to take this opportunity to thank LNR putting on such an awesome event. I'm absolutely loving being part of their PC events. So I hope guys come through and support and start racing, because I know there's a lot of guys registered, but unfortunately we're struggling a bit for numbers. So yeah, guys, come through, support, and just want to thank you again for all you guys are doing, and for the stream. You're doing an awesome job, bro. Thank you so much for your commentary, and just loving being a part of it. No,
awesome. No, honestly, it's been great. You guys have this. I commentate for another competition as well, and you have the same sort of atmosphere of just like pure respect for each other. So it's such a joy to commentate because you feel the respect and the understanding between all of the drivers that like you're here to get to the end of the race, and there's no real like vendetta anyone has against anyone. It's great.
Yeah, 100%. That's exactly how it is, and that's part of why I'm enjoying it so much. Because fortunately, not all sim racing leagues are like that. But yeah, LNR's got a good mix, and they're doing a great job. Yeah, no, I'm loving the banter here. It really is good. Tristan, it's lovely to finally speak to you. I will catch you hopefully next week. Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Cheers, mate.
Cool. Cheers.
And last in the waiting room at the moment, we have the one driver who I have definitely been pronouncing his name wrong all evening. Corne Strauss?
Yes, that's correct.
I've got it right this time. It was only because Tristan said your name. You have been called Corn Strauss or Race. I will be sure to fix that next round.
No, it's all good, man. It's all good.
So a lovely South African name that would be? Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Congratulations on the third position. A difficult race it looks like, but you're hanging on the coattails of the 720S, which in the Audi R8 is a feat, let me tell you.
Yeah, it was a bit difficult. Tristan's 720S was on rails the whole race, didn't make mistakes, so it was really difficult to try and get past him.
Yeah, 100%. And the problem is as well is the Audi's good in the corners.
Yeah. Well, I'm in the Porsche, but yeah, my Porsche was set it more for downforce.
Sorry,
so
yes,
I couldn't
Porsche.
get through. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I set it more for downforce through the corners, so I was losing on the straights. I just couldn't catch up with Tristan.
Yeah, of course. No. It was either we actually did give you a full lap because I love. Just talk to me about the sound of that Porsche very briefly, because it's one of the best things that I've ever heard in sim racing.
Yeah, it's surreal. It's such a nice sound. It actually makes it even nicer to drive in the game because it's not a droning sound that you get tired of. You just enjoy hearing it rev up and down all the time.
Yeah.
And having heard it in real life too, it's quite accurate to the real car too. So it's another plus to driving it.
Yeah, 100%. No, it really is a wonderful, wonderful car. It's a shame it's not quicker in the straights, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess for the next race, I'll change the setup a little bit. Maybe bring some wing down, get some more straight line speed. But I think the consistency through the corners is what got me this good result.
100%. Well, speaking of next round, we're going from one side of the planet to the other, and Bathurst is where the next round of the championship is. How are you with the mountain?
It's honestly my worst track.
Yeah.
I struggle to find pace there, and then it's my first time using the Porsche to race in any of the leagues either, so it's going to be a steep learning curve. But yeah, it's just setup work and some lap times and seat time. I reckon I'll see if I can get another podium for next race.
Well, you'll be pleased to know that Porsche have been very dominant at the mountain before, so if you stumble on a relatively decent strategy, then you'll be quids in.
Yeah, I'll give it a bash. Yeah.
Wonderful. Brilliant. Thank you very much for
problem.
dropping
Thanks
in,
for
Connie.
having me.
Yeah, no worries,
Cheers.
mate. You have a lovely evening.
You too, bad.
And with all of that said and done, all that leaves me is to say thank you very much, everybody, for watching. If you enjoyed the race, make sure that you leave a like. And as we finish our session, when I can actually get the camera into the right place. Unfortunately, the whole keybinds are not the easiest thing to do. As we finish our race, looking over the skyline of Brands Hatch, I bid you all a very, very good evening, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.